What's up, Nick? This is your Korbanth Mace Windu BMF edition lightsaber. It is all complete and installed with your removable chassis, proffie board. So I wanted to make this video and go over kind of the specs with you, let you know how to work the saber and how to really enjoy it. So this is your box. This is how it's going to come. Your saber and your chassis are going to be inside it. I'm going to go over that. And I'm going to go over everything else in the box with you. So here's your saber. In order to turn on the saber, we're going to unscrew the pommel right here. And that's going to come right off. And we're going to take this plastic piece. This is your chassis, and we're going to slide this out. Okay? So this is going to be the heart of your saber. This is the external chassis with the crystal chamber. Now, to turn it on, you have got a kill switch right here. So we're going to flick this kill switch on.
I'm going to end this once and for all.
So that's how you know your saber has been powered up. And you'll see this is your crystal chamber right here. Now, this saber was installed with the proffie board. It's proffie 2.2, which is an open source awesome board. Each of these crystals are wired independently of each other so they can act independently, and you can have different effects on those. This is your proffie board. This is your 22mm speaker. This is your battery with the battery cover that you chose. These are going to be your switches right here. This is lower one's going to be your activation, and then your top one is going to be your auxiliary. These are your neopixel connectors. This is what's going to make contact with the blade that you got and light up your blade. So to turn on the saber, you hit the ignition button, and that powers your saber on. Now you've got smooth swing with this, clash on clash, so you got that, and you got a lot of other cool features I'll go over once I get a blade in. To turn off the saber, you're going to hit the power button again, and that's going to change, or that's going to turn off the saber. To switch between the various fonts, you send me a few fonts, and I got all those on here. To switch to different fonts, when the saber is off, you're going to hit this auxiliary button.
I can feel it. After all, she is my twin sister.
And each font has a specific wave file that is associated with it. And this one is for the twins. And you'll see here, like I said, I've got these two crystals wired independently so that they can be different colors each. And each font, the crystals are going to act a little bit differently. So you would turn it on again, and each one's going to sound a little bit different as well. It's another cool feature that you can turn off with just twisting it real quick. Okay, so obviously we want to get this into the saber. Now, you'll notice the switches here. You're going to want to align them with this middle button right here. This middle button moves up and down. Ignition, auxiliary. And then these two don't do anything. They're static. So you want to align these buttons with this when you're sliding it in. This is the only way that the chassis will fit, is when you get that just right. But you know, you want to try to aim for it so you're not just endlessly trying to stab the chassis in there. So you want to push the chassis in all the way till you feel the click and you know that it's in there. You want to take your pommel, screw your pommel back on. Okay, now that your pommel's secure, you can hit this lower part of that middle button, and this will ignite the saber. Okay, and like I said, you can power it off by hitting this button right here. Now, you'll notice that the rim of the emitter has these three retention screws in here. That's what you're going to want to use to keep your blade in. So let's get a blade in there. You'll grab your blade, and you want to make sure that these screws are screwed out so you're not jamming a blade in there when the screws are engaged. You want to push this in till you feel it hit the bottom. You don't want to jam it in there too tight. Now you've got these two hex screws that will come with your saber. And you're going to use these hex keys, to tighten the retention screws so that your blade is secure. And I would recommend tightening all 3 of the retention screws. So that way your blade is going to be in there real tight and snug. Because if your blade loses contact with those pins, you can get some, distortion in your blade, and you don't want that. So that is secure. And now we want to power up the blade. So this is still the twin font, and we've got lower part is pink, and then the upper part is blue on this blade. So I'll turn that off, and let's see what other fonts we got on here for you, okay? So we're gonna just cycle through these fonts till we get back to the Mace Windu font. We're gonna hit the auxiliary button.
Bam.
We're gonna just light it up. Next font.
Hang on, son, we'll move into the asteroid field. And we'll have a couple of surprises for you.
This one's gonna be real fun. This is the Slave 1 font and blade style. So your blade is actually just Slave 1. All right, we're gonna turn that off. All right, next font.
General Kenobi.
Little General Kenobi action for you. Go to our next font.
Just a simple wonder.
This is the fun Ronin font from Visions. If you want to do blaster bolts, you'll hit the auxiliary button while the blade is ignited. Next font.
Elder.
So here's your Darth Vader font from Rogue One. It's got a slow scroll. And I think we're going to get back to Mace Windu now.
Master Windu!
Here's our purple blade. Oh, hold on. There we go. You've also got Force Lightning, so you got a lock up here. You've also got Melt. Let's see if I can get this on the camera. And you're just going to spin that while you're hitting the auxiliary button to show a Melt. And then again, switch it off. So when you're done messing around with the saber and done playing with it, you want to unscrew these retention screws. So let's do that. Oh, come on. All right, there's that one. There's that one. Show you how to take that out. Okay. And here's your saber. When you know that you don't want to put another blade in, your saber actually does come with a blade plug, okay? And that's what this guy is. So to add this to your saber, this guy actually unscrews this little rim right here, okay? We're gonna take this guy off. Be careful, because this whole thing will unscrew. You don't want the whole thing to unscrew, just the top. Then you'll take your blade plug, drop that in. And now you've got a nice little display for the saber as well. Okay, and so to turn it off when we're done with it, we want to take the chassis out and flick that kill switch back over again. So unscrew the pommel, grab the chassis, guide it out, and then flick that kill switch, and you're good to go. So when you need to recharge the battery, you'll need to get in here and take the battery out. And here's what we'll go over with the battery real quick. This is an 18650 lithium ion battery. This is a very powerful battery, and I took the cover off so it doesn't automatically tell you which side is positive and which side is negative. Positive is always going to be your nipple side, and negative is always going to be your flat side. You always want to make sure you put nipple to nipple on this, because if you put the battery in backwards, you can fry out your board, and you don't want to do that. So remember, when you're putting it in, nipple to nipple, okay? And you just slide that in there until it clicks. And you also want to make sure that the battery is flush in with here, because this needs to be nice and, you know, skinny before you can put it in your saber. The other thing that I kind of want to go over with you,
I'm going to end this once and for all,
are just your, you know, your crystal chambers are going to look different for
I
each.
can feel it. After all,
For each
she is my
font.
twin sister. Ma'am.
Okay, so these
Hang
are
on, son. We'll move into the asteroid field.
some of the other options that you've got for the crystal chambers. These are just really fun, and these were fun to program too.
Master Windu.
And then we're back to Master Windu. So if you ever wanted to access your proffie board will pop up, and you can access your SD card and stuff like that. And if you wanted to learn how to program your proffie board, there's tons of YouTube videos out there showing you how to do that. That's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this off. I'm going to keep the chassis inside the saber, and I'm going to ship it to you like this, with this battery pretty much fully charged. This was a really fun build, man. I'm glad you asked me to do this for you, and the fonts were also really fun to do as well. So hope you enjoy your Korbanth Mace Windu BMF edition. How can we not go over this right here? So it's called the BMF edition because you've got the BMF etched onto the saber right here. Okay, so that's what you wanted to get on there. Now there's also these grips that I decided, this was my choice. You've got two different styles of grips. The other style is going to be included with the box for you. If you like those better, you can peel these off and put those grips on. I liked these better, but that might just be my preference. You're going to get the other accent piece without, oh, there it goes. You're going to get the accent piece without the BMF if you ever wanted to take that off and add that on. I don't know why you do that, because the BMF is actually really awesome. But the option's going to be there for you. So again, going over what's going to be in the box, you're going to have the saber with the chassis inside. You're going to have the extra set of grips. You're going to have the other accent piece, the other ring, so when you want to put the blade in, and then you're also going to have these two Allen keys for the retention screws. That's everything, man. I hope you enjoy this saber, and may the force be with you.